Hello and welcome to the daily English news program on Azərbaycan Television with the most important events of the day. I'm your host, Cindy. President İlham signed an executive order on the additional measures in respect to the supply of cultivation areas with irrigation water and meeting the demand of population for potable water in Şəmkir and Tovuz districts. According to the executive order, 1,400,000 monads from the state budget is allocated to Azərbaycan Amelioration and Water Management Open Joint Stock Company to improve the supply of cultivation areas and courts used for cultivation with irrigation water, as well as to design and dig 20 sub-artesian wells to meet the demand of population for potable water in 17 residential settlements with 105,153 inhabitants in Şəmkir and Tovuz districts. President İlham signed a decree on a new division of economic regions of the Republic of Azerbaijan. The decree states that the eastern part of the Zengezur Plateau, which occupies a large territory from Lachin and Kəlbəcər to Nakhchivan on the border with Armenia, and in the same geographical space, historically united, as well as for many years, being part of the Zengezur region, formed in 1861, traditional socio-economic, historical and cultural ties necessitates the unification of the Zengilan, Qubadlı, Cəbrayıl, Lachin and Kəlbəcər districts into a single economic region. The establishment of the Qarabağ economic region is significant in order to provide restoration and rapid development of ancient Qarabağ region, which has special rich historical cultural heritage, incredible nature, including Ağdam, Şuşa, Füzuli, Tərtər, Xocavənd, Xocalı districts and Xankəndi city, as well as Ağcabədi and Bərdə districts belonging to Qarabağ region. Reintegration of the liberated territories into the country's economy requires increasing the efficiency of planning in other economic regions, including the Gənc-Qazax and Aran economic regions, providing flexibility in economic management and revising the composition of these economic regions to that end. According to the decree, the following division of the economic regions of Azerbaijan was approved: Baku, Nakhchivan, Abşeron-Xızı, Mountainous Shirvan, Gəncə-Daşkəsən, Qarabağ, Qazax-Tovuz, Quba-Xaçmaz, Lənkəran-Astara, Central Aran, Milmugan, Şəki-Zaqatala, East Zengezur, Shirvan-Salyan economic regions. On July 7th, at about 1:40 p.m., the Armenian Armed Forces units in the positions located near Kolagir village of Berd district, using small arms, subjected to fire positions of the Azerbaijan army in the direction of Garalar village of Tovuz district. There are no losses or wounded among the military personnel of the Azerbaijan army. Currently, the situation in the direction is stable. Our units control the operational situation. Trial of a criminal case of Ludwig Mkrtchyan and Alyosha Khasravyan, accused of torturing Azerbaijanis captured during the First Karabakh War and committing other crimes, continued with the testimony of the accused. Beginning of the open trial, chaired by judge of the Baku military court, Elbey Allahverdiyev, testimony was heard on the episode when Ludwig Mkrtchyan was detained on October 20th last year while committing a crime on the territory of Azerbaijan. Armenians were waiting for our soldiers with a provocation in mind. One of the servicemen, Askar Firavan, became a martyr. Ludwig Mkrtchyan led the armed group of Armenians who were in the Azerbaijani territory. When our servicemen offered them to surrender, Mkrtchyan forbade to do so. Everyone in the group was young, only he was older. Everyone saw that he forbade them to surrender to captivity, said the representative of the aggrieved party. Answering questions of the public prosecutor, Ludwig Mkrtchyan spoke about how he had for the first time visited Agdara village in 1992 and arrived to Sogolushan in 1994. When a shell exploded while digging a trench, he was wounded by a sharp nail in his head. It was at that time that he was part of the Armenian armed formations created by Armenia itself. Ludwig, as a volunteer, came to Karabakh as part of this group. Once again, during the April battles, he was sent as a member of the Yer Krapa organization. It should be noted that Yer Krapa is a parliamentary organization that unites Armenian volunteers and its members to fight against Azerbaijanis. The structure is funded by Armenians living abroad. Ludwig Mkrtchyan admitted that he knew about the occupation of Karabakh by the Armenians and said that in October 2020, together with strangers, he arrived in Hadrut and began to fight. He knew that Hadrut is an Azerbaijani territory and that Armenians resided there. At that time, in a village unknown to him near Hadrut, a shootout took place, and the Armenian servicemen retreating hid in the forests. After that, their commander disappeared, and they did not know where he had gone, and they were detained by Azerbaijani servicemen. In court, Ludwig Mkrtacyan repented of his deed, asked for forgiveness from the Azerbaijani people, and admitted his wrongdoings. Another accused, Alyosha Khosravyan, also pleaded guilty to illegal crossing of the state border of Azerbaijan and asked for forgiveness. The victim said that Alyosha Khosravyan and Ludwig Mkrtacyan were giving false testimony to the court. Then the court presented the documents involved in the case. In the course of studying the documents, it turned out that there is a special wing for work with youth of the Yerkrapa organization, whose members are Alyosha Khosravyan and Ludwig Mkrtacyan. The photographs presented show how this network attracts young children to military exercises, teaches them how to use weapons, and Armenian officials are involved in this process. The next trial will take place on July 14th. The Conference of Heads of Prosecutors' Office of European States kicked off on July 7th in St. Petersburg. The two-day event was jointly organized by General Prosecutor's Office of the Russian Federation, the Council of Europe, and the International Association of Prosecutors. Azerbaijan is represented at the conference by a delegation headed by Prosecutor General Kamran Aliyev.
Prosecutor General of Russia Igor Krasnov informed about the role of the Prosecutor's Office in the protection of individual rights and public interest in the context of the requirements of the European Convention on Human Rights. In accordance with the appeals of modern times development of the Prosecutor's Office system, the role of the Prosecutor's Office in protecting human rights, the importance of developing multilateral cooperation between prosecutors and the fight against organized crime, including cybercrime, crimes using digital currencies, and other areas was stressed. Within the conference, a declaration on cooperation in the field of environmental protection and use of the natural resources of the Caspian Sea was signed between general prosecutors of Azerbaijan, Russia, Iran, Turkmenistan, and Kazakhstan. The document covers the mechanisms for the implementation of international law and national legislation on environmental protection in the Caspian Sea, as well as the protection of the environmental rights of citizens and the implementation of a preventive set of measures to combat offenses. Within the framework of the conference, the Prosecutor General of Azerbaijan, Kamran Aliyev, met with the Ambassador of Iran to Russia, Kazem Jalili, the Prosecutors General of Turkey, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and Kyrgyzstan, as well as with the President of the International Association of Prosecutors. At the meeting, an exchange of views on the prospects for further cooperation was held.
The final stage of the UK Sadish contest, established by the executive order of President İlham Aliyev to identify and support promising leaders with high intellectual potential and management skills, as well as the create a reserve of personnel, will be held. 112 people obtained the right to participate in the final stage, to be held on July 10th to 11th. In the final, professional experts will assess skills of the participants in 9 nominations. Assessment, based on modern world experience, will cover the economy, social, human resources, and reconstruction of Azerbaijan. At the end of the final stage, about 20 winners will be announced, each of whom will receive a grant in the amount of 20,000 manats. 127 infections with novel coronavirus were registered in Azerbaijan. 54 people recovered after treatment and released home. One person who earlier tested positive for COVID-19 died. The overall confirmed cases in Azerbaijan have reached 336,684, with 330,567 recoveries and 4,979 deaths. The number of active infections is 1,138. To detect new infection cases over the past day, 10,025 tests and overall 3,813,017 tests have been conducted in Azerbaijan, the task force under the Cabinet of Ministers reported. That was all for the day. Thank you for being with us and see you next time.